Hello and welcome back to Crazy Rove Studio. Today we will talk about the NMC CLI reporting command gstclreport. So to start with, I have some great news for you all. Networker Command app for iOS is now finally published on the Apple App Store. Links are in the description. I hope you all find this app useful. So every application needs a reporting functionality and a backup application definitely needs one. And in Networker, this reporting tool is part of the Networker Management Console. To have the functionality of the reporting, make sure that whenever you add a Networker server to the NMC, you enable the option for gathering data for the respective Networker server. The NMC report tool is pretty handy when it works. However, this NMC report functionality has a very common error that you see on the slide. So this has plagued me for such a long time during my operational duty days that I had never been able to get to the root cause for, or I did not try very hard, but because I found a workaround for this issue, and this was the gstcl report. This is the CLI command to generate the same kind of report that the NMC reports could. Now using this is not that straightforward at first, but once you are familiar with how to build it, it becomes really easy. Another best use case that I could find using the CLI instead of the GUI is the ability to automate the report generation process by putting this command on the cron or a work scheduler or a job scheduler on Windows. So let's take a quick look at the different switches available on with this report. We have -H, which is not displayed here. -H is usually used to get help with how to use the respective command, in this case gstclreport. -R is the report name, which is the full path of the report you would like to run. So we will take a look at it when we look at the demo. -U switch is for the username. -P is optional. I say optional because if you do not give the -P in the command itself, and when you run the command, it's going to ask you or prompt you for a password, which is the best way to do it. But if in case you're using this for automation, like putting it in a script or putting it in a cron tab, then you might have to supply this password, and the only security risk is that this password is applied here as a plain text. It is not encrypted with any other format. So yeah, there is that possibility of others getting to know this password if they get into the respective script or the cron tab. The next switch is -A, which is the chart selector. This is only when you use the chart view type, which is provided with the -V switch. So -V switch can take in two parameters, either a chart or a table. So if you have used NMC report before, you will know that you can get the chart either as a tabular in a table format or in a chart format. -C switch is for the chart type, and the chart type is basically used when in conjunction with the chart view type. And there are three options or four options here, which is bar, pie, plot, and stacking bar. -F is the export file name. So again, this is optional. If you do not give this option, it is going to assume the name of the report for the file itself. So this is a little problematic, because if in case you already have an report with the respective name, it gets overwritten. So it is best you always use a custom report name every time you generate a new report. Then we have the -N switch, which is the font family, but not very important. It is just for in case in your PDF, if you do not want to use the general font. I think it is Times Roman, not really sure which font that is, but if in case you have a specific need for a specific font, then you can mention that font family here. -O is for orientation, so you can orient the report in portrait or in landscape mode with this switch. By default, it is always portrait mode. So this is again optional. -V is the view type, so we have already spoken about this. Here the default is table, so again this is not mandatory, but if in case you want to change the view type, you would have to mention that here. -X is the export type. So export type is again optional. The default when you do not provide the switch is PDF, but if in case you want different formats that NMC report supports, like PostScript, HTML, CSV, then you would have to mention those in along with this particular switch, that is -C. -C, you'll have to provide that with this switch, which is -x. -uppercase C switch is also optional if in case you do not want to apply any filters to your report. So if in case there are any kind of filters that you want to apply, then you will have to use the -C switch. So now let's see how to use the -C switch. There is a specific way of using this. We'll look at that when we look at the demo. The path where this command resides is not added to the path environment variable by default, so you might have to either add it to the path variable or run it using the complete path, which is /opt/lgtonmc/bin and the command gstclreport. Now there is one prerequisite that you have to meet in order to run this command. This is because the gstclreport is Java based, or it has a number of commands that within this script which is Java based. So this will need the environment variable java_home set to the path of the JRE location. So you might, if in case you have JRE installed, that is well and good, but I would recommend you to always install the networker runtime environment on any of your systems that are running the NMC server role or the networker server role, so that you have these correct versions of JREs installed on them. Now let's go ahead and take a quick look at how to use this, and I'll show you the different reports and the different ways to apply the filters and generate the different type of alerts that NMC reports support. Alright, so we are now on our backup server, which is also our network management console server, and the GSTCL report is part of the NMC binary. So you will find the binary on so you'll find the binary as seen before in the location OPT LGTO NMC, and here you are. So I think I have added this to my path variable. Yeah, there we have it. So I can directly run this in here. So as you see, this is taking Java. So again, if I have to show you, I have set the Java path as Java home path as well. And this is my NRE Java. So try to always use this. The GSTCL report itself is a bash script. So let's do this. And what you could do is you could provide the setting of the Java home right here on the script itself by editing or by uncommenting or adding this line somewhere in the very beginning of the script. So this way anyone who runs the command will have the correct Java path set. That done, let's go ahead and take a look at how to run this command. So we have gstcl report. I'm going to give it a username. So as I mentioned, -p, which is the switch for the password, is not mandatory, but If you do not give that mention the switch here with the relevant value, it is going to prompt you for a password. And if in case you're using this in an automation scenario, then you might have to supply the -p switch with the password, and this password is in plain text, so it is a security risk. So please use it carefully and do not expose it in a script which somebody other than your team has access to. So this is what we have. Then the next mandatory switch is -r. So to build the -r, which is the report path, you would need help from the NMC report window. So, and here the path of the report should be always starting from the root, which is /reports. So it is similar to how you would provide a directory structure in Linux. Case of the command should be the same as the report path or the report name in your NMC report window. So let's try to generate the first one here. So reports /policy statistics /policy summary. So the rest of the details or the rest of the switches are all optional, as I had mentioned before. But if in case you need anything specific, for example, right now when I run this report, it is going to provide me the information for the policy summary, and the report will be generated as a PDF file. So let's go ahead and run this. Give it the password, and we have a typo. Password again, and you will see that the report is generated with the name policy_summary. So the report is always generated at the same path from where the command is run. So right now I am on my root directory, so whatever reports are generated will be generated right here. So this is the report that just got generated. So to look at the report, what we'll do is we'll download it to our local folder or local system, and if I refresh, this is the one. All right, let me download this report. So here is the generated report. So if you can see, it is generating for 1 day, so that is the default setting for the start time. And it is also mentioned that it has done backed up 9 save sets in the demo policy and 1 save set under the policy server protection. Now let's go ahead and use the filters that are available and create a more detailed uh, report. So let me minimize this. So let's say I want the details for the save sets, or maybe the clients. Let's go for clients. All right, so let's clear our screen. So this time it would be policy statistics and client details. Now to use filters, that is for providing a value for any one of these parameters here, we use the -C switch. So it works like this: -C, provide it a parameter name. For example, let me give it client name. And whenever there are multiple lists of clients, you can provide multiple values for each parameter by separating it with a comma. So here, let me see which one I can take. Let's see, dc1 dot crazyroad.com. Then let me select nsr-linux.crazyroad.com. Now if I run this as is, it is going to generate that file, and it is generating it as client details if you see here. So let's go ahead and download that file to take a look at it. Refresh client details and download and open it up. So you see that we have, oh, I have a typo there as well. I'm doing a lot of typos today. So this will be ignored, and only the NSR's Linux details are pulled from the information. So what I can do is, let's go back and generate another report. Let me clear this. Let's now run another report, or run the same report with the start time and end time being different. So again, the parameter to be used here has to be provided with a minus uppercase switch. In our case, it is workflow start time. The values to these parameters are two values actually. One is the one is the from and the to value. So basically the from and the to. So the first string is taken as the from parameter, and the next string is taken as a to. So we can just mention this here and then put in the values. The date format has to be very specific. Again, these details are in the command reference guide. You can also refer to the network command app to look at those details. So we wanted to check something that was backed up in December. So let's give it a date. So 1/1/2021, and then we need to give it the time, which is, I'm giving it the I'm giving it the first, starting at midnight, and then the end date is 31. So day, month, year, along with the hour, minute and second, and PM. Let's provide a output type. So let's change it to CSV now and give it a name, which would be, let's say client underscore details for Jan. All right, let's put in the password. Okay, so the year format was a little off, so we have to mention just the second part of the year, so 21/21. I hope that works this time at least. No, it did not. So it could not parse the second set of value. So everything looks perfect. Ah, silly mistake. There is, since we are giving AM and PM, we have to give it in a 12-hour format. So let's see how that goes this time. All right, great. Now my report has been generated. Let's download the report. Oh, it's in a CSV format, so we can directly look right here. So, all right, there you go. So we have only the backup servers backup done during this time, and these are the different dates of those backups. So 30th and 1. So I hope this was useful enough for you. Uh, Again, you can play around with the different report formats, the different report types, the different report dates or parameters to understand and get used to using this particular report. Once you get used to it, it is a really handy report. You don't have to wait on the NMC. You can automate it, in different ways to get the information about all the failures or backup summaries and so on. Thanks for sticking with me till the end of this video. I hope you found this useful. If you have any questions or comments, share it with our community in the comment section below, or you can drop me a message at my Twitter account. I will see you on another video. Goodbye.